Welcome to Reroot webinar. My name is Cynthia Leconte. I am sitting here with my very good friend, Ariane, founder of The Inward Path.
Hey, hi, Cynthia. Thank you for having me again.
You are always welcome. Every episode, you're welcome. Let's start right off the bat this episode with a project that you have been working on for a really long time. I know this because I'm your BFF. I'm in on all your secrets. Joking. Okay. But yes, I know that this has been a long time coming. This is all part of a huge evolution that you have gone through. And now you're out to bring it out into the world.
Yeah, so I have a couple programs right now that I'm working on online. So there's going to be some live programs where you can participate. There's going to be pre-recorded programs as well that you can download and just kind of do at your own pace. I'm also going to be promoting different types of guided audio meditations. And those are going to be also in a program package that I'm going to be offering. I'm going to be offering a variety of different services, as many as I'm inspired to share. The foundation of all of those services comes back to rewriting your perspectives, getting a broader perspective on your life, on your situation, your relationship with yourself, on the environment. So looking at all of those limiting belief patterns and rewriting them. We can use the word reprogramming, we can use the word recreating, we can use the words integrating the parts of ourselves that we feel disconnected from, restoring balance. So, and it's going to come in the form of, as I said previously, it's going to come in a form of a variety of different services, depending on the kind of person you are and how you best learn.
Okay, so you're talking about, like, you talked about guided meditations, like live group sessions.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you're also offering a guided meditation when you're doing the group sessions too?
So for example, I'm going to be offering 2.5-day live retreats. So I wanted to do them in person on Vancouver Island, but all those plans got pushed aside. I don't quite feel like this pandemic situation is going to be over for some time. And so a part of me was thinking, you know what, let's just put this online and not wait around. So there will be online virtual retreats. That's probably going to be happening, I would say, either in July or August. What is going to be available much sooner than that is like affirmation projects. Affirmation programs are going to be up on my website, as well as like a guided audio journeying, guided meditations. There's going to be like a whole library of those that are going to be available for free as well.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about, like, how did you reach that? Because I know I've done your programs, I've worked personally with you, and I do know that people walk out of these sessions and these programs like on a whole new level, like really transformed, with a new sense of freedom, with, you know, like people who feel like they're stuck or they're dealing with something. There's also, you know, physically, there's some physical stuff that happens as well. People who are symptomatic may be getting breakthroughs with their symptoms. There's a slew of results that people get out of your programs. And I want to hear a little bit more, because I know this is also your own, like you've made this and you've developed these techniques yourself. And that is incredibly admirable and awesome. If I may say so. How did you get to that? Like, I know a little bit about your progress and all of this, because I've witnessed it, and I think it would be great to hear it, like to hear it from A to Z, and for you to share it with the people listening.
Yeah, totally. Well, I was in trouble. I was in trouble. I was troubled. I was not in a good space. Growing up, I was a very highly sensitive type. I felt like a sponge, like I would soak up everything around me. I had a lot of difficulties with filters and healthy boundaries. So I would experience a lot of things like anxiety and depression to some pretty intense degrees. I was experiencing this at a young age, and I didn't really tell anybody around me because I wasn't able to, nor did I have the desire to. So I kept it in and I disguised it. But it got to a point in my adolescent years where I really had to do something drastic. I had to find solutions. I didn't feel like I was able to really find or seek out those solutions in my immediate environment. And so it really forced me, by having this type of experience, it really forced me to look much deeper within myself. I was observing a lot of very unhealthy thought patterns and behaviors within myself that were very limiting, that were also very, where I felt unsafe, were kind of scary. And so there was just a lot of emotional instability going on. Essentially, that's when I started realizing, okay, there's a lot going on in my mind that is enormously not trustworthy. Like, I can't trust my mind. And when I started looking deeper within, I was like, wait a minute, I'm not my mind. There's other things going on here. There's different aspects of me that I can get in touch with and learn about and build new relationships with, different relationships with. And I discovered that, okay, if I'm not my mind, then what am I? Whoa, the doors opened to this whole other world. And it's really interesting because it was pretty much around then that all the teachers and guides started lining up and all the practices started lining up. So, that reminds me of the saying, when the student's ready, the teacher shows up, right? Yeah. So I had so many teachers because I think I needed it. A, I needed it, and B, I was ready to do whatever it took.
You were just like a really screwed up child that needed all this.
I had a great upbringing in my family. My family is amazing. It's just literally it was an enormously sensitive human being, absorbing everything like a sponge. And yeah, there were some heavy ancestral patterns that were passed down on both family lines, which were, every single person I know has that exact same thing. This is nothing unusual, right? Inherited family traumas and patterns, right?
And that's just like, that's something that we tend to discover doing this work. Like, oftentimes that's something that comes through our path, is that we learn about this lineage, ancestry work and stuff like that is all kind of part of this type of discovery. And and I think everybody has that, right? Does everybody have that?
Everyone.
I think everyone has that. I
mean,
what are the chances that you, your parents, your grandparents, great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, all the way back, all had perfect lives and were perfect parents?
Yeah, no, of course. Like, that just absolutely doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it's
life was rosy. No, we have some pretty crazy, violent, I don't know, screwed up memories stuck in ourselves somewhere,
And so you're talking about something really important. You're talking about cell memory right now when you just said that. So yeah, our body retains memory, our cells retain memory. And this is not just you and I talking about this. This is science that has proven this over and over and over again, cell memory. So, all right. And we know that trauma is passed down through the generations. And so I discovered this quickly because I was observing, a lot of what I'm struggling with within myself, I can see that the people around me are also struggling with to the same degree, in even greater degrees. So I was already starting to observe that. I was already starting to make space for myself in my mind, and I was already starting to look inward. So this was happening at a really young age because of the challenge, because of the discomfort, and because of the imbalances I was going through. And so this is like step one of the webinar right here. This is a really important point. A lot of the struggle and the pain we go through, in my opinion, I've seen this in my own life and countless times with so many people I've worked with. The really troubled, dark, scary times are the most catalytic. Is that a word? Catalytic? Catalytic are the most, can be the sentence. So if it isn't a word, I just created it now. Okay. You should get a dictionary.
You have to give me a context here. And what I'm getting with what you're saying is, and I say this too, is the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough.
Exactly. I'm so grateful that I had all of those struggles, because it taught me to go inwards, and it taught me to go inwards, to trust, and to build new trusting relationships with myself beyond the mind. And so what a beautiful freaking gift, especially to get at that age when I'm so influential and yeah, you were going to say.
Is that where the inward path comes from?
Exactly. Nice. Totally. That's exactly where it comes from.
It all makes sense.
That is the vision for the vision for the mission. I don't want to, you know what I mean?
I thought mission and vision were two different things.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't know mission had a vision. That's amazing.
This is the message, essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
What's the vision's mission? Oh man, I digress.
What an incredible freaking gift to have given myself that ability to look within and to rely on this relationship out of anything out there externally from myself. I was learning very quickly, remembering that this relationship is the most important. And so what a beautiful gift. So I wouldn't change anything. All the struggles were absolutely perfect in my mind's eye. Nobody did anything wrong. My family's amazing. It's nothing to do, nothing negative against them at all in any sense of the word. It's just the circumstances of life. And I believe it was all very benevolent. It was all designed perfectly for all of this to take place. Essentially, trying to make the long story short here, the practices started lining up. Martial arts very quickly came into my life, and I started learning, okay, my mind is reflecting. The mind and the body, they're mirrors. They reflect one another. If I'm thinking a certain state, my body is going to feel that and reflect that. I started, yoga came in shortly after that. Meditation came in, medical qigong came in. A slew of different holistic manual therapy practices came in after that. I have a stack of trainings, and I dove deep into every single one. And they all taught me very important things that I'm applying to this day, and I'm applying in my work to this day. I learned very quickly, okay, yeah, the mind and the body are mirrors. They reflect one another. The body retains memory. So essentially my history is in my tissues. My issues are in my tissues. Those, let's say there are traumatic memories, let's say there are unresolved issues that are still retained in my cells, that information, that energy, those emotions, those feelings are still going to be speaking. They still speak through us, and we relive them. And wow, we're creating our life around those stories and our personality and our perceptions. And oh my God, wow, no wonder why I couldn't move forwards 20 years ago. And I was just in so much turmoil, because when we're identifying so heavily with those stories and unresolved issues, we think we're them. It's very, very difficult to move forwards in life, or to even be functional really in life. So forget building healthy relationships and having stability. That's just, why don't you start with even feeling safe in your own skin? Why don't you start there? A lot of people aren't even safe in their own body.
Yeah, and you project that. Obviously that's something that you project. Anything that you're carrying, you're projecting onto other people.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And so a lot of these practices I was observing, I was rewriting, the relationship I was having with my body and with that cell memory. I was literally rewriting it with all of those practices. I can see that. However, after years of doing this really intensely, all those trainings and all those practices, I was like, no, we need to do this faster. We need to do this faster, because
you're such never fast enough. All or nothing, all or nothing.
Yeah, we need to do this faster because, and what I mean by we need to do this faster is I needed to find quicker solutions to finding clarity, to finding balance, to finding integration, because I was in incredible ways recreating the relationship with my body, with my nervous system. I was having much healthier perceptions about myself and the world, for sure, but there were still, it's not that, you know, there were still like really still things I had to resolve within myself. It wasn't that. It was more a deeper calling that was like, no, you can find, there are many options here, and just continue digging deeper and just explore, see what you find.
You getting to this whole idea that you need to get these breakthroughs faster. Was it really that went through your mind? In other words, like, I need to get results faster? Or was it more that you've learned so many things and you realize that you could get this so much quicker?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like setting that distinction, because there's like, oh, I need to go quicker, or because you're learning and you're piecing together so many different methods.
Yeah.
You can, like, you've learned to kind of formulate or get the gist of it, going, wait a minute, there's another plane that we can work on here. And we don't have to spend weeks and months and years to get to where we need to get to. There is a way that we can get results instantly, or about instantly.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. That's exactly it. So if I can rephrase it, I would say that a part of me knew that there was a more efficient way.
Okay. Yeah.
Efficient.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so a lot of these practices there was doing that work was happening. I was seeing it, I was feeling it happen, and it was doing it like automatically, kind of subconsciously. It was just happening. Part of me was curious about consciously doing this work. Okay, well, what if I consciously go in and, you know, consciously rewrite these patterns that I have within me, within my cells, within my subconscious, within me? What if we did that? And so very curious, a very peculiar thing. I'm trying to find a way to describe this, but a very peculiar thing happened where, after so many years of training and getting all of these certifications, nothing really stuck with me. I was never called to practice any of those individual practices ever. My gut would always say, when I leave those training doors, it would always say, forget what you learned, forget what you learned, forget what you learned. And it's like, I'm spending thousands of dollars on these trainings. Like, I would like to remember something from one of these and apply them and be a professional at some point. But my gut was like, nope, keep on forgetting. Okay, I'm going to keep on forgetting, but what's next? And what was next was actually a practice of its own that was just coming through me in a really creative, open-minded, open-hearted state. Literally, I was just starting to craft out. I'm not going to say a new practice, because nothing's really new. It's all recycled. It's all pieces of everything else. But a practice essentially that helps to rewrite those patterns, those programs. And so what I'm sharing through the website, through this online forum that I'm creating, is not, it's literally a compilation of many different practices that have come together. I drew upon all of the different essences, I should say, from all these practices, and just kind of jumbled them together, and something has come through in its own creative way. Essentially, it's work that helps to rewrite the relationship we have with ourselves. And ultimately, when you do that, the relationship with the environment changes like that, and with other people. Yeah. A lot of people are doing this, and I'm not the one doing the work. I just want to be really, really clear. I'm literally just holding the space for other people to do this type of work. So I just wanted to make that really clear, because I know that there's a lot of practitioners that work differently, and this is something I'm absolutely committed to, is to ensuring that the space that's created is very safe, it's non-judgmental, and And that holds an incredible opportunity, an incredible environment for that individual to dive deep, to have a really good look, and to start rewriting those beliefs and stories that they have. So it's really important. It is so freaking important that we really look at what it is that we're buying into, what it is that we're believing. And if I look right now out there in the world collectively, it seems like we are rewriting these collective beliefs, you know?
Yes, absolutely, especially right now.
Right now.
So your work is actually really crucial right now. And I don't want to say crucial like, you know, we can't do without it, but it's crucial in the sense that this is the best time to take this on and to create, right?
Totally.
And that's kind of what you're offering, is an opportunity for people to create or recreate themselves, right?
Yeah. And I just want to like be straight up here. When we really get to the root of discomfort or like very scary feelings and sensations within us, when we really let ourselves just sink and feel to the absolute root of that in a safe environment, it's really outstanding what can happen. Oh my God, it is so outstanding. And look how fundamental that is. You know, we tie so much around, we attach so much around those scary feelings and sensations and, you know, perspectives that we have. But if we start to remember the ways in which we can navigate through that inner world, there's so much going on within us, and a lot of us are just like abandoning ship, like, nope, don't want to deal with that. Like, don't want to look at that, don't want to deal with that.
What you're saying is, in order to do that work, or even to take on a program like yours, you have to be willing to go there, like, and
you have to be willing
look at stuff.
Exactly. This work is for people who want to look within and who are ready to start feeling and like getting real with what's happening. And I know a lot of people don't do that because there is not the support and the safety that's available. I would have done this 20 years ago if I had that, and I didn't. So, well, I did have it. I found it 20 years ago. I sought it out and I found it, but it's so incredibly available now. These services and these types of programs and these opportunities to find people who have the experience, who've walked the path themselves. I'm always committed to working with people who have walked that rugged path because it means that they've done, you know, they've done the work, and not a lot of people have. And yeah, oh yeah, I don't know, not one. All of the guides I have worked with, every single one have gone through one hell of a time and have managed to make their way out of it. And it builds incredible resilience. It builds self-awareness, self-knowing. It allows us to connect more deeply with other people and understand other people. It's like, oh, you heal something in yourself, you have the medicine now to share with other people.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. And I mean, growth isn't always comfortable either, you know, and it doesn't mean that you're going to experience it negatively at all. I've had sessions with you where everything was fine and dandy and butterflies and pixies are flying everywhere and I'm like happy-go-lucky everywhere. And then there's the sessions where I ended up like in fetal position on the floor crying. But that's all okay. It's all part of the work. It's all part of the breakthrough. And I've experienced it, like no matter what comes out of it, in the end, it's so positive and enlightening and freeing. It's really, really great work.
Yeah. And all you're doing is just having a look at yourself. That's all the individual is doing, taking their relationship and their awareness deeper within them. That's all that's happening. And so, and again, we have not been taught how to do that safely. We're not taught how to navigate. A lot of us are not taught how to navigate through our own emotions and thought patterns and feelings, and that inner world we can, as I would like to say. So I'm so happy to provide this space for people because, in my opinion, it's probably one of the most important life skills that we can have. The ability to feel safe within our own skin, the ability to consciously be aware of our beliefs and to consciously choose other ones if the ones we currently have are limiting, to know what that looks like, to know what that feels like. Absolutely life altering. And it's fundamental. It's simple. It's not, rocket science here. But again, at the same time, having an individual who went through that rugged path and then sought out the help in so many different ways. Like at one point, it was unreal, the amount of support that I was giving myself, because I knew that I wanted to share this with people. The deeper within I was looking, the more I was discovering and expanding myself and finding relief and clarity, the more I wanted to share. Why would I want to keep all that to myself? This is such goals. Like, I got to share this. So,
Wow.
so
Relief is a great term. Relief.
Oh my God, the power of the mind. Like, if I think of something right now, you and I, if we all think of something right now in really great, thorough detail, with as much imagery as possible, and we use as much of our senses as possible, and we really like hold on to that image in our mind, the cells of our body will think that whatever you're imagining is actually happening in real life, and will actually register that as reality. Look at that. Let's just take that. Wow, what a tool.
Yeah, I mean, athletes use it all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like professional athletes, top performers on this planet use visualization to increase their physical performance.
Yeah.
So that says a huge amount right there. Mm-hmm. And Ariane, I'm going to acknowledge you because you are an incredible space holder. You're an outstanding space holder. And
thank you.
Everybody out there, like, in a space where Ariane sits, it's almost like the energy elevates and you just feel so safe and empowered to do whatever it is that you're out to do in that moment. Go wherever you need to go in that moment. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you will choose to, but the space is definitely available and it's a very safe space. I can't say enough about that, because that is a gift. It's a talent, I'll say, that you have, and it's a gift for everybody in that room.
That's really freaking sweet of you to say. Thank you so
You weren't expecting that.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't expecting that, and thank you. That's really sweet of you to say. It's really sweet to hear that, and yeah, I have so much to say on the subject. It's so funny to me now, 20 years later, actually more like 21, 22 years later, being in this space where I'm looking back at my life at this, 14, 15-year-old expression of myself, and I'm seeing clearly that she is totally whole, totally complete. She is not dysfunctional. She is not broken. She does not need fixing. But in her mind, she's all of that. She is Baroque. She is like totally, out to lunch. She is not okay. She needs she's fractured. She needs healing. That's what she's thinking. But from my perspective, looking at her, she is so freaking whole and complete, and all of that pain and that suffering she's going through, it's just, I like to see this now as feedback. I'm not seeing sickness and disease at all the way we are looking at it collectively. Absolutely not. I have such a different perspective on what sickness and dis-ease is. Yeah. And so she thinks she's incredibly sick. I think from this perspective, she's totally freaking whole and complete just as she is. All of that suffering, from this perspective, all of that suffering and difficulty is feedback. If I could speak to her right now, I would tell her, Ariane, 14, 13, 15-year-old Ariane, you are totally, completely whole and aligned just as you are. But, you're going through a lot of difficulty right now. Teachers are coming your way, practices are coming your way, and, go with that. All of those tools and practices are going to bring you back to yourself. Every single one is going to bring you back to yourself. So you can have a deeper look at yourself. You can really strengthen that relationship with yourself. And you can start to no longer identify and attach so much around that suffering. You think you are your suffering. You think you are your pain, and you're not. You're something way bigger and more brilliant than that. And so me telling her that, like, I'm just imagining myself at that age, hearing that from someone, hearing, oh, you're actually totally okay. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, a part of me would probably be upset and maybe a bit reactive and be like, no, there is something wrong with me and I need healing. But there would be a deeper part of me that would be so relieved and happy and appreciative. That would be like, hey, you know what? Thank you, because you're freaking right. You're right. And a lot of this very symptomatic feelings and states that I'm having, a lot of that, I'm going to start seeing that as feedback. What is this communicating to me? What is this communicating? Instead of like, whoa, there's something wrong and I'm going to attach and latch onto this and, think that I'm this really broken being. Okay, I'm going to create some space for myself. And those tools, that yoga, that meditation, that martial arts, those were all tools that helped me to make that space and to gradually start to detach and no longer associate with that as my identity.
And everything that you're saying right now is pretty much what you're helping people see.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you're a space for people to see pretty much everything that you had experienced. Everything that you just shared is what you're holding space for. Is that right?
That's exactly it. It's so beautiful to sit there and to watch people begin to make that space for themselves and begin to see other possibilities. Because I know when you're really suffering, there is no other possibility, and that pain is all you can see, and that's all the reality is, and it's extremely hard to see anything else or to feel anything else. But and it can be paralyzing. But instead of but, I should say and. And there is a way to gradually begin to make space from that and recreate the relationship with ourselves. And when we do that, we're recreating the relationship with everything else around us. This is nothing new. What Ariane is talking about here is nothing new. We have so many incredible teachers of our time who have been talking about this, about being the observer, about making space. And I would just take it a step further. And I would say we can actually consciously rewrite those stories. We can consciously go in and rewrite them. And one of the services I offer is a private session where the person goes into a theta state, so like a really deep, relaxed state. And they consciously go into those places within that they've been resisting or hiding, that they've been numbing. And in a super safe space, they're able to access that, to navigate through it and rewrite it. And ultimately rewriting the whole cellular structure, because all the cells are responding again to those patterns, to our thoughts, to our feelings. It's just like one huge holistic expression here. Nothing is separate. My mind is not separate from the body. My heart is not separate from my mind. It's all connected here, right? When we start doing this work and walking this inward path, we realize, wow, it's not just me here. It's not just my body. There's so much going on that's unseen. And I'm deeply connected to everything and everyone. And my actions and my deeds deeply, and my thoughts deeply affect those that are around me and my environment. Whether I'm aware of it or not, it's happening. Yeah. And so how does that happen? Well, okay, there must be some kind of field, some kind of grid I can't see, some kind of quantum field, as you're talking about. And again, this is nothing new. This is what our great, great teachers of our time and our ancestors have been speaking about as well. And now science is proving this as well. So it's a really beautiful time to live. And that being said, what a pivotal time to learn the skills of inner navigation, of like feeling, just the fundamentals of feeling who we feeling those parts of ourselves without attaching or latching on or like further identifying ourselves with it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I can share a little bit, like what I really love about this work is it's like when you think that your reality is set, like we've been living our lives a certain way, and like that's just reality. That's just, and then all of a sudden something comes in where our perspective completely shifts over, and all of a sudden our view of life completely shifts. And therefore our actions change, our behaviors change, our feelings change, our perceptions of people, of situations, of circumstances change. And I mean, this is not only the case with the work that you do, it's the case with a lot of work of doing this work, right? All of this work. But that's kind of what I'm getting here with this whole conversation is I'm just so present to the beauty of that, you know, the beauty of the flexibility of truth, you know, how truth can be shifted. Truth evolves. Well, evolving truth.
But you're onto something here. A couple of things stood out as you were speaking. First and foremost, when you change your perspective, your belief system, your state of mind, it's not just state of mind, it's state of heart, state of being. Everything else around there changes. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on here. Imagine if more people did this. If more people started practicing getting like that broader perspective, started practicing making space from themselves and all of those patterns and behaviors that were very limiting, and started identifying more with their heart, started feeling more and not running and hiding and numbing and doing all of those escapism things that we do. Okay, I'm seeing a different world. I'm seeing a very different world. And I believe, and I could speak for you too, I think that we would both believe that this is what's happening right now in the world.
Yeah,
we're not
globally what this work brings.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it really does. I'm going to use the word empower. I'm not the big fan of the word power anymore, but like, it sets people free. It's a very freeing.
It is. And I think the ultimate, I mean, this is so the culmination of so many conversations in this world is it brings you back to a space of love.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and some people might want to fight that and be like, oh, it's too mushy and airy fairy and whatever. And it's like, you know what? This is what it is.
Well, you know, they can say that. Like, people can say that, but I'm going to say, because I've done this work too, Ariane, I didn't mention to this point, but you taught me what you do. And I've kind of developed my own way of doing it. I don't work the same way that you do. And that's really great. And I will say that the people that I've worked with can be like totally left-brained. This is not just airy fairy stuff.
No.
I used to think that, you know what I mean? I used to think, oh my gosh, like this work is like very airy fairy, and no, it's not for everybody. Agreed. And I have worked with very grounded, left-brained people who have got the most outstanding breakthroughs from a session.
Yeah. As a guiding someone to have a deeper look at themselves and to feel the parts of themselves that they've been putting aside, and to safely assist them, to safely guide them through that, you know, and we talk about huge breakthroughs and people like changing their lives and stuff. Look how simple that is. That's not rocket science here. We're not doing actually, as the space holders, you and I, we're just providing a space for people to look inwardly, and to do that in a safe way where they're not going to feel like, you know, they need to run or hide. So they're the ones doing the work. And this is the power in changing perspectives. Unreal, you know, changing our perspectives, our beliefs, our state, what it does to life, and how it can happen like that. Happen quickly once we start to connect the dots. You know, a really common theme in this work, something that's come up repeatedly, is one individual, let's say, for example, holding a lot of pain towards one of their parents, let's say the father, and that person holding on to so much pain from the father, so much pain, unable to let it go, and just it's been there for years, and I can't move on in my life because of this pain, you know, that type of story. And then when we go deeper and have a deeper look at the situation between that individual and their father, we get a broader perspective. Suddenly we can see that the actions and behaviors of the father were actually coming from a slew of people and ancestors and energy behind him, you know, and we get to see how and why and where this man, this father, how and from where he was behaving from, why he was behaving that way. And it's actually a product of so much, often trauma and unresolved issues and troubles and difficulties from generations prior that were literally passed down. And so when the mind and the heart, more importantly, we're talking about mind here, this is a lot of heart work too. When we're able to see, whoa, that bigger perspective, suddenly we're seeing that we are a byproduct. I don't know if that's the term, but essentially we're connected to so much. It's far more than just myself and my parent. It's this incredible chain of events and people and generations, and oh my God. So suddenly letting go is accessible. Suddenly forgiveness is acceptable. Suddenly acceptance is acceptable. Suddenly letting go of pain is happening because we're seeing things differently. We're feeling from a different place. It's really fascinating stuff, and it's really exciting to share because you're right. Like it's pretty powerful. Yeah,
It is. So I thank you so much for sharing all of that. So if somebody wants to check out the programs that are coming out, they're not out yet, are they? Or do you have some that are out right now?
No, so the website is up and running. I did kind of like a facelift for the website, so that's available now. It's theinwardpath.com. And I will be making the virtual 2.5-day retreat with my partner. We're going to be buddying up and offering this information. It's going to be a 2.5-day live retreat, and that's probably going to be coming out either in July or August.
Awesome. I'm going to put your website and your Instagram contact down here in the description. So if anybody wants to check you out and get updates, they can go to your website. Is that right?
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, for sure. You'll get a bit more information about who I am and what I do. I'm actually going to be putting up a lot of free guided meditations. Awesome. That will assist. Yeah. So that will just essentially, I'll be your guide, and I'm going to hold that space for you to start going in safely and to start learning what it is to navigate that inner world. And I'm looking to have like a nice library of just a bunch of guided audios up there. So that's going to be happening as of today. That's in the process of happening.
Incredible. I honestly can't wait. I always enjoy your meditations, all your work. I enjoy, of course I do. You're like my awesome friend. But you do amazing work. You really do. I mean,
thank you.
I can't deny that. So great. If anybody's interested, you know where to reach Ariane. And if you're enjoying this conversation, Ariane and I have many of these conversations here on the Reroot channel. So click the like button below and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification button as well. You'll get notified when our new webinars come out. And I also have some guests coming in where we get to talk about all these awesome different topics. So yeah.
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're so welcome. So Ariane, once again, thank you so much for all of this information. It was so great this time to really hear about your work and what you provide for people. So thank you for sharing yourself on that.
You're welcome. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Everybody next time. Bye. Right there.
Yeah, I think I'm on the other side. Other side. Point.
Am I pointing outside of the screen on your end?
You are!
Perk up. That's so funny. I didn't know I showed up on the other side. It's like a revelation. Like it's like
When you put the recording up,
Zoom.
put the recording up officially on YouTube, I'm always on your right.
Okay, well then, okay, we'll do both.
Yeah. Yeah. She's on one of these sides. One of them.
Yeah.